6:48, back now with your top stories you need to know for Friday. This is decision day for three Clyde-Savannah high school students appearing in a Wayne County courtroom.
These three boys face charges of felony aggravated sexual abuse, first-degree hazing, and forcible touching. They are accused of sexually abusing a 14-year-old teammate inside the school's locker room last fall, which is what ended their football season. This case was adjourned last month as the defense had asked the judge to dismiss or reduce the charges, but the prosecutors want those charges to stay the same. The hearing is set at 1:30 today. News 8 will keep you updated, and we will get that ruling straight from the judge and bring it to you quickly here on News 8 on air and on our website, rochesterfirst.com.
Another big case in court. Attorneys representing the companies that made and sold equipment used by the racist Buffalo Tops mass shooter have a hearing coming up. The equipment includes the body armor, the AR-15, and the magazine lock he removed from the gun. Attorneys for the manufacturers are arguing to dismiss that case, citing the protection of the Lawful Commerce in Arms Act. That law protects gun makers and dealers from being held liable when crimes are committed using their products. But an attorney for the victims' families strongly disagrees.
Now you have a guy here going into a gun shop saying, I want to buy this specific AR-15, which is used in mass shootings, but I want to buy this specific weapon that has a lock where you can remove it to make it so that it carries interchangeable high-capacity magazines, and then discuss with the gun owner how to convert it to make it illegal. That's just plain wrong, and he's responsible.
The civil case is back in court today with the attorneys representing the social medias as well being sued.
Two men in Wayne County face years behind bars in separate child porn cases. Frederick Trevitt of Newark was convicted of possessing child porn involving a prepubescent minor. Investigators say he owned a laptop with more than 300 illegal pictures and videos involving victims, some of them including violence and abuse of an infant or toddler. He's been sentenced to 12 years in prison. Separately, Randall Seeley Jr. of Lyons pled guilty to receiving child porn. Investigators say Seeley was having sexual communications online with a child under the age of 15. Those messages go as far back as July of 2022. Hundreds of images and videos also found on his phone involving this teen and other victims. He now faces a minimum 5 years in prison, and he is scheduled to be sentenced in May.
At least one person is injured after a crash in Perrington. This was the scene last night around 6 o'clock on Route 96. The sheriff's office says that stretch of road between East Street and Thornell Road was blocked as deputies worked. It has since reopened, and you see the damage there with the car flipped. No other details have been offered about how many people were involved or injured or the exact cause. Once we get an update from the sheriff's office, we will share that with you this morning on rochesterfirst.com.
We have an update for all you folks out there frustrated not getting your Ruby Gordon orders or refunds. The business says that they will start addressing any issues with customers, whether it's by refund or fulfilling an order, but they have to wait until Monday. This comes after the furniture company had announced it will shut down for good by the end of this year. A representative for Planned Furniture Promotions confirms with News 8 inquiries can be made in person at the Henrietta location or by giving them a call. The company adds that it is working on a bankruptcy sale, but they've not yet set a date for that.
Some state lawmakers and advocates are working more to protect kids online. There are two bills on the table in Albany which would regulate how much time children spend on the internet and to protect their personal info. One piece of legislation called the Stop Addictive Feeds Exploitation Act, or SAFE Act for short, would mandate social media companies to restrict features on the platforms that could harm younger users and give you, the parent, more control over when content can be sent to your kid and what kind. The Child Protection Act also looks to ban websites from collecting, using, sharing, or selling personal data from anyone under the age of 18 unless given clear consent.
A $78 billion tax cut package is heading to the Senate after it passed in the House. This bipartisan supported measure could help families and businesses by boosting the existing $16,000 child tax credit to $2,000 per family through 2025. It would also reinstate some business deductions, including those connected to research and development. Still uncertain, though, if the bill will become law, as some Senate Republicans say they have reservations because it's not going to raise the cap on federal deductions for state and local taxes as well.
Rochester City school district leaders spent the day at the state capitol calling for more funding. Over the last few weeks, there have been a number of hearings like this one once we heard about the budget proposal from Governor Kathy Hochul and what it could mean for our schools. Dr. Carmine Peluso, superintendent at RCSD, talked about how schools here could use a lot more help. Among his requests, reinstating the $1.2 million Rochester School Health Service Grant funds, which were removed from the governor's proposal. The budget is due April 1st. Sunrise traffic at 6:53 before we check your forecast in a little while with James headed out this Friday. We are good to go. Our map is green. Just minor issues out there that we've seen so far. Some smaller accidents, fender benders clearing out. Expressway is all good. We'll check that again at about 7:25. We have a new story looking at this program through the Urban League of Rochester this morning that is aimed at helping businesses eliminate institutional racism.
It is called Interrupt Racism, and it's just kicking off now with the 2024 training course. Ron Spitzer speaking to the leader of that program. She shares more in studio now with what to expect and how they want to help. Ron.
This is an anti-racism training program for local businesses that want to create an equitable work environment by identifying faulty policies or behaviors that may be in place. It's a 12-month program, and they launched 2024 with 15 organizations, 100 people. While in the course, organizations are asked to create a change team, up to 10 people from various levels, including frontline staff through to executives. This way, there's a blend of experiences to paint a full picture of how employees see the organization. These groups are also asked to conduct an assessment looking at policies, recruitment and retention methods, and more to see how the community views them too.
We know that these programs, these initiatives are very important because here we are in 2024 and we are still seeing the biases, the poor outcomes when it comes to Black and brown populations. And we know that many of these things stem because of housing issues, workforce issues, employment issues, and unemployment issues, and all of the above. And so we want to make sure that our organizations who have committed themselves to being more equitable, who have pledged to be more equitable, that they have the tools and the skills they need to be able to make the changes that they want to make in their organizations.
Lucas tells me that one of the organizations that completed the program started with 5% diversity in staff and moved to 25% after the program. Guys, back to you.
All right, Ron, thank you. Final check that forecast headed out. Your high today, right about now, James.
This is it.
We're feeling it.
Yeah, normal high 18, normal low 18.
Yeah.
And we're sitting in the mid-30s now. We'll hold that. We did have a couple of very light flakes early this morning, but those have generally faded. And we will fall into the 30s this afternoon as we head into the weekend. First weekend of February. Looks great. Start off with clouds Saturday, then sun emerges in the afternoon. Sunday looks great. Highs around 40, mostly sunny. And then we've got a nice dry stretch as we get into next week. So polar plunge this weekend.
Yeah.
Weather looks great for that. Water temperature, while cold, is above average for early February. And then we get our forecast from Punxsutawney Phil in about 30 minutes.
We'll see what he's got to say. I don't know.
Yeah,
Early spring, more winter. Who's to say?
I know. Sunglasses, though. The season is here, starting this weekend.
Love that.
A nice stretch. I got 2 pairs in the car. One working through the rotation. Been a while.
Yes. Right.
Yeah.
For when you walk out of the car with them.
Yeah, and leave them somewhere. That does it for us here at Sunrise this week. Thank you so much for being here.
And we're glad you shared the morning with us. CBS Mornings is coming up next.
Follow News 8 wherever you are on RochesterFirst.com, Facebook, Twitter, and on our app for news and weather.